I had transmigrated. As soon as I opened my eyes, I received both good and bad news. The good news was that I had become the wife of a wealthy man. The bad news? The wealthy woman was on the verge of death. Her son, a love-stricken fool who adored his mistress more than anything, was preparing to pull my oxygen tube out. Was I really going to die right after waking up? Not on my watch. Mom, this is amazing. We've been staying by your side every day. You've finally woken up. Looking at the overjoyed face in front of me, I gritted my teeth. In my past life, I had transmigrated into this wealthy woman's body after a car accident. She'd been in the ICU for days, and her son Tyler had not even bothered to show up, busy as he was fighting for the family inheritance. As soon as the lawyer told him that the inheritance would only be his if the woman died, he immediately brought his delicate and seductive mistress to the hospital to pull the oxygen tube from me. If it weren't for the daughter-in-law and the other woman trying to stop him, I would probably be dead by now. I had just woken up when they started arguing. This body had been lying down for so long. I needed some time to adjust. Noticing I hadn't spoken, that idiot's son was still playing up to the moment. Mom, you have no idea how hard it's been for me these past few days. Since you fell unconscious, I've been suffering so much. I smiled coldly, thinking to myself, this unfilial son willing to harm me for a woman. It made me so angry. Then I spoke, so, you're trying to pull the tube out of me? He was caught off guard, and his face looked a little pale, forcing out a few awkward laughs. Mom, I'm just worried about you. I was just following the doctor's advice. You can't be mad at me. My intentions are good. I raised an eyebrow, and my gaze fell on the mistress beside him. From the memories of this body, I recalled that she was Tyler's mistress. This fool had wanted a divorce for her, but thanks to my previous self, the divorce hadn't happened. Otherwise, she would have taken her place by now. She was afraid Tyler couldn't bring himself to do it, so she insisted on coming along, only to witness a medical miracle. She was the one who dragged my daughter-in-law away when they tried to pull out my tube earlier. I gritted my teeth and turned my anger toward Tyler. Who is she? Who told you to bring her here? Tyler, shameless as ever, smiled awkwardly. Mom, Mia and I are really in love. Please, bless us. He glanced at his wife with disdain. I've long since lost feelings for Lily. After all these years of marriage, we've never had a child. Besides, she's past her childbearing age. The chances of having kids are slimmer now. Mia is different. She's young, with a great figure. She's made to have a son. Lily shuddered in fear. The original wealthy woman had always believed in the old-fashioned idea of unfilial is worst, and no heirs is the biggest shame. If it weren't for the business marriage with Lily's family, she would have forced Tyler to divorce her years ago, so she had always turned a blind eye to his affair. Tyler now used the child as an excuse to manipulate his mother's thoughts. Lily's eyes were red as she looked at me, stuttering. Mom, you have to support me. Tyler impatiently waved at her. Go away. I'm talking to my mom. What's it got to do with you? Lily's body trembled, too scared to speak up. I sighed. Lily was really pitiful and I had to help her. Tyler thought I was agreeing with him, his face lighting up with joy. Mom, you agree? Agree with what? That idiotic sick fool? Get out of here. I took a deep breath, forced a smile, and asked cautiously, Lily may not have been able to have children, but she can still help you with your career. If you divorce her, would you have Mia take her place in the company? Lily turned pale as she heard this, biting her lip in silence. Tyler, the fool, actually thought for a moment and then shook his head. I comforted myself. Even a love-stricken fool could still be saved. But when he spoke, I was stunned. After marriage, Mia will just stay home as a rich housewife. He actually started planning our future. She currently works as a secretary in our company, but I already feel bad for her. Once we have kids, she can stay home and raise them. Though we have a nanny for things like education, it's best if the parents are involved. The mistress looked at him adoringly, moved to tears. I closed my eyes in frustration. Ooh, this love-stricken fool really couldn't be saved. My mind raced back to the story of King Yu of Zhou and his obsession with Bao Si. Tyler was just as muddled by Mia. My head was buzzing in anger. If he really inherited the family fortune, what would happen to me? I couldn't let this happen. Am I supposed to dig wild vegetables with him in the future? Unable to hold it in, I yelled, "Shut up! If you marry her, don't ever call me your mom." Everyone was stunned. Tyler was shocked, staring at me in disbelief. Lily never expected that I would stand on her side. Mia, the mistress, was also stunned, clutching Tyler's hand, looking at him with pleading eyes. Tyler thought I was just bluffing, looking completely relaxed. "Mom, you must be doing this for Lily's sake, right?" "There's no need for that. Really, there's no need. You should just wait to hold your grandchild. Why worry about her?" Lily was struck like a bolt of lightning, her body swaying a little, her face drained of color. After all, they had been living together as a couple, and hearing him say that, Lily had completely given up. I was shocked. He thought he could play tricks? Not a chance. I took a deep breath and gritted my teeth. "I'm not joking. If you insist on being with her, then leave this house." Mia's eyes immediately turned red, and tears started flowing like a faucet. Tyler, this love-struck fool, looked at me with unwavering resolve, as if he were ready to face death. "Mom, if you really want me to choose between you and Mia..." Tyler took a deep breath, closed his eyes in pain and gritted his teeth. "If you insist on this, then I can only choose you." His words left me speechless for a moment. Was the love-struck fool gone? Mia was stunned, her face pale with shock. Tyler held her hand, rubbing it gently, his eyes filled with uncontrollable affection. "Mia, I'm sorry, I can't marry you yet, but please give me some time." I couldn't help but laugh inwardly. This guy was like Elbu from the Three Kingdoms, pretending to deceive others for Dao Chan while playing games with me. I immediately understood his intentions. Playing word games with me, huh? He thought I was that easy to fool. I sneered. "Tyler, I have a few words for you." Tyler raised an eyebrow. "Mom, go ahead." Sometimes, as long as a person's emotional intelligence and intelligence are at an average level, they can outsmart a whole crowd. Although Tyler was love-struck, he wasn't completely brainless. He wanted both money and his mistress. He thought I didn't know what he was scheming. He told me he had cut ties with his mistress, but their relationship, hidden in plain sight, still remained. He was just trying to outlast me and then marry Mia once I was out of the picture. But sadly for him, his calculations were off. The next day, ignoring everyone's objections, I checked myself out of the hospital. The original wealthy woman's fortune was quite substantial, with many assets, and the most profitable company, now under Tyler's control, needed to be saved. If I didn't act fast, Tyler and Mia would ruin it. I had no choice. My previous life as an employee was a heavy burden on me. I stormed into the company, and as soon as I entered the door, I saw Mia surrounded by a crowd of employees. Even from a distance, I could hear her boasting. The boss said I've been working too hard, and I heard I'm going to get an A for this year's assessment." There was a collective gasp, followed by murmurs of envy from the crowd. "That's amazing. There are only 3 or 4 A's in the whole company, and some people can't even dream of it. Mia really works hard. Being around the boss is like walking on eggshells. The pressure must be immense." Mia's vanity was clearly satisfied, and she couldn't stop smiling. "The boss values ability. You guys only see how good he is to me, but you haven't seen how much I've worked behind the scenes." I laughed inwardly. She sure worked hard, but only in bed. Hey, she was the textbook example of a lady with a servant's fate. She was just a cup of green tea, and with me around, she'd soon be cold and stale. I snorted and walked over with a frown. Mia, lost in her self-praise, didn't even notice me as I approached her. "I'll tell you all, the chairwoman is still lying in the hospital. The company will eventually belong to the boss. You all understand, right?" Mia was too engrossed in herself, and the people around her kept giving her knowing glances, but she didn't notice a thing. Instead, she worked even harder, her voice dripping with naive foolishness. Honestly, the fact that the chairwoman woke up is already a medical miracle. But the company still belongs to the boss. She didn't manage the company when she was well. So what about now? The room went silent, everyone exchanging awkward glances. The atmosphere was incredibly uncomfortable. I sneered. "Are you talking about me?" Mia's body stiffened and she slowly turned around, her face turning pale. When she saw me, her eyes widened in disbelief, as if her heart had been pierced by 1,000 arrows. "Chairwoman, what are you doing here?" My appearance had struck a deep blow to her slumbering conscience. I coldly spoke. I was afraid if I didn't come, you'd forget who runs the company. Mia's face turned even paler. She forced a smile, trying to please me. Of course the company belongs to you. I was just joking earlier, please don't take it to heart. I snorted and raised an eyebrow, retorting, the company pays you to joke around? I glanced at the chips in her hand and grabbed them from her. Does the company hire you to eat, drink, and play? I bombarded her with questions, quickly driving her crazy. As she struggled to find an answer, Tyler hurried over, likely having gotten wind of the situation. He quickly placed himself in front of Mia, panting, and plastered a smile on his face. Mom, what are you doing here? I rolled my eyes. This damn love, sick fool didn't even know when I was discharged. But the moment I scolded his precious Mia, he immediately found out. I gritted my teeth, forced a sarcastic smile, and said, if I didn't show up, I wouldn't have known she was so arrogant in the company. You could drink any tea, but you chose green tea. Tyler's face turned red from my reprimand, and Mia's face went ashen, looking pitifully at him. Now he was the one calling the shots. He turned to Mia, his eyes full of deep affection. Mom, don't take it out on Mia, she was just joking. I furrowed my brow even deeper. Why drink green tea of all things? The first thing I did after returning to the company was to revise the year-end assessment, and I was busy as could be when Tyler walked in with a coffee, grinning from ear to ear. I glanced up at him and snorted. Tyler's face was plastered with a smile as he respectfully placed the coffee in front of me. Mom, here's your coffee. The American style. No sugar. Just how you like it. I shot him a side glance. Trying to bribe me? I firmly pushed the coffee aside. I drink peach cheese plus taro balls plus cheese with yogurt, no sugar. Tyler was immediately thrown off, scrambling to place the order. Once he finished, he nervously smiled. Mom, next time can you not scold Mia in front of everyone? She's so sensitive and she's crying now. I rolled my eyes and looked at Tyler sternly. Do you know how Mia's salary is structured? Tyler froze, mechanically nodding. Yeah, it's base salary plus bonuses. I shook my head. It's salary plus humiliation. Tyler's face turned bitter. My anger flared up and I slammed my hand on the desk. That temper of hers, I should have slapped her across the face sooner. Explain to me, why is she getting such high marks in the year-end assessment? What performance has she contributed? Tyler had come in to plead for her, but instead I gave him an earful. Mia was just a secretary, where was her high performance coming from? That same day I readjusted the assessment scores. Tyler's cronies, the ones whose results were artificially inflated, all got high marks because of him. But my policy was that capable people get the opportunity to shine. I gave a stage to those who actually worked and were capable. To make sure the employees had a fair chance, I worked late into the night to finish everything. Sipping on my milk tea, I leisurely walked out of the office, only to find the office area still brightly lit. Many of my colleagues were still working overtime, radiating the dazzling aura of hard-working employees. I waved my hand. Stop pretending to be busy. From now on, when it's time to clock out, everyone clocks out. We're all employees here. No need for any showmanship. Tyler, acting like a lapdog, came over, with Mia following behind, clicking her high heels. Mia looks really tired, doesn't she? Mia perked up, suddenly radiating energy. She was about to nod when I interrupted her with my next sentence. Was she tired from binge watching dramas at work? Mia's face froze in awkwardness, and Tyler quickly stepped in, shooting me a pleading look. Mom? Mia, scared of me, made a quick excuse to leave. Excuse me, I need to use the restroom. Her words suddenly gave me an idea, and I called over the engineer who was about to leave for the day. Chun, tomorrow, please make sure to block the Wi-Fi and mobile signal in the restroom. Thanks to her little reminder, I almost forgot. Tyler looked confused, totally baffled. Mom, what's going on? I cast a glance at my mistress's retreating figure and smirked. This is to prevent her from treating the restroom as her home. That evening, Tyler drove me home while Mia reluctantly hailed a rideshare. On the way, I couldn't help but ask Tyler, where does Mia live? Without thinking, he blurted out, oh, she lives in Jingshuan. I gritted my teeth. The mistress was living in my property? No doubt. This was Tyler's doing. I immediately called the property manager and told her to reclaim the house. I also spread the word that no one could live there without my permission. The next day, while I was working, Tyler barged into my office without any notice. Mom? I shot him a cold glance. Did you come here to bring me milk tea? He was stunned for a second, then instinctively responded, Ah, I'll go buy it now. The slow reaction of a sick fool. He only realized his purpose after turning around in a hurry. He quickly spun back, his neck stiff. Mom, why did you take back the property in Jingshuan? I darkened my expression. It's my property. If I don't want to rent it out, is that a problem? His face turned as purple as a liver, and he stared at me, dumbfounded. After a long while, he stiffly opened his mouth. Mom, you know that I gave that house to Mia. Why do you have to do this? I raised my hand, palm up. Has she been paying rent? That apartment costs about $18,000 a month, right? I checked with the property, and she's been there for at least 6 months. Even if she's paying just $6,000 a month, that's $36,000. She's our employee, so I'm giving her a discount. Just give me $30,000. After going over the details yesterday, I realized that the original wealthy woman owned properties all over the country, and Jingshuan was one of them. The entire complex was mine. I could laugh in my dreams about it. Tyler's face turned all shades of displeasure, and he stiffened as he argued back. Mom, isn't this a bit much? My temper flared. He dared to argue when he was the one who had come to me begging for favors? If he's the one in charge of the family, can I still have a say? The original wealthy woman was soft on her son, almost indulging him with anything he asked, but I had no feelings for this struck fool who had tried to kill me by pulling my oxygen tube out. I sneered. Just like how a wise ruler would deal with a corrupt minister or pampered concubine, I said, Much? I have something even more extreme. Don't you have credit cards under my name? Consider them canceled today. He and his mistress had been using my money all along. It was finally time to show them what it's like to be the one in charge. Tyler's face turned ashen, his eyes wide in disbelief. Mom, you? I gave him a cold glance. If you keep talking back, don't bother coming home. Tyler's face turned white as a sheet, and he stood there, dumbfounded as if struck speechless. At noon, I went out to grab a bite and saw Tyler and his little mistress in the break room, squeezing together to eat boxed lunches. Tyler used to take her out to fancy restaurants every day, but now that I've frozen his credit cards, he's been reduced to eating boxed lunch. Well, it's good let him experience what it feels like to be an ordinary worker. Just as I was about to leave, the little mistress suddenly sighed dramatically. Tyler, I saw the apartment you found for me. It's so far from the company, and the subway ride takes over an hour. And it's too small in an old neighborhood. It's nothing like where I used to live. I stopped in my tracks, wanting to eavesdrop on how Tyler would respond. Tyler sighed and patiently comforted her. Hang in there a bit longer, I'll find a better place for you soon. Mia, with her melodramatic tone, replied, When will that be? The daily commute is just too painful. I nodded sympathetically, thinking to myself, now Tyler knows what it's like to be broke. Tyler went silent. Mia, having no sense of subtlety, continued pestering him relentlessly. Can you at least transfer me some money? My daily commute by taxi costs me $50 or $60 each time. Normally, Tyler would have transferred the money without a second thought, but now that I had control over his finances, he couldn't squeeze out a single cent. Seeing him silent, Mia began shaking his arm, pleading, Please, just a little. Tyler gritted his teeth. All right, wait here. I'll send it to you as soon as I can. Tyler had the idea of asking for an early salary advance. Behind my back, he went to the finance department, trying to get his salary for next month in advance. What a joke! He had just spent last month's salary in no time, and now he was trying to do the same with next month's. The finance director was my daughter Coco. On the day I crossed over, if she hadn't intervened at the hospital, giving me valuable time, I would have been long gone. The original wealthy woman had always been biased toward men. Although my daughter was the finance director, everything had to go according to Tyler's wishes. But ever since I took over, she finally found her backbone. When Tyler approached her, she subtly dialed me on a voice call. As soon as the phone connected, Tyler's condescending tone came through. Sis, can you advance next month's salary for me? Hurry up, I really need it. Coco smacked her lips. Did you talk to Mom about this? Tyler immediately became serious. I'm the general manager. Just advance it to me, no need for all the talk. In the past, Coco would have never dared to speak out, but today was different. With my support, she finally stood her ground, speaking far more assertively than before. That's not going to happen. Unless Mom tells me herself. There's no way. Tyler, infuriated, slammed his hand on the table. Don't use Mom to pressure me. Think carefully. Who's going to be in charge of this company in the future? You're talking about the future. Let's focus on the present, Coco replied coolly. Tyler's anger boiled over. How dare you speak to me like that? I'm the general manager. I'm the finance director. Coco shot back. If I don't stamp it, how will the finance department approve your money? You... Tyler was left speechless, stumbling over his words, unable to get a full sentence out. Hearing him get a taste of his own medicine, I couldn't help but feel delighted. Coco did a great job. Someone needed to put Tyler in his place. They say a daughter is her mother's little cotton padded jacket, and I'm very satisfied with my little cotton padded jacket. As for the big cotton pants, don't need them. Tyler, furious, shouted, Are you really going to do this? Coco calmly took a sip of her coffee, her tone laced with meaning. Can't you see the situation? Mom's no longer as lenient with you as before. She's not playing favorites anymore. Her words hit like arrows, piercing through Tyler's heart. He froze. Coco kept going for the kill. You tried to pull the oxygen tube from Mom. How could she still favor you like before? Big Sis is such a good person and can help you in your career, but you still chose a blood-sucking green TB*TCH. Are you out of your mind? It was satisfying to watch her call out this textbook love-struck fool. Tyler was seething, but helpless, like a defeated rooster leaving in a slump. Having failed to get any money from the finance department, Tyler was in a bad mood. Not only was Coco opposing him, but no one else was taking him seriously either. With Mid-Autumn Festival approaching, the mooncakes I had ordered arrived, and everyone in the company received a box as a festive gift. As people lined up to receive their mooncakes, I heard some shouting. At first I wasn't interested, but when I heard Tyler's angry voice, my inner gossip spirit was instantly ignited. The mooncake distribution counter. Tyler was standing with his hands on his hips, angrily yelling, while Mia, looking all fragile, hid behind him. When I arrived, Tyler was pointing at the HR assistant, shouting, What's wrong with Mia getting a few extra boxes? She's my secretary. I told her to come and pick them up for our clients. The HR assistant, standing upright, replied, If you want to give them to clients, you need to send us an email listing the names of the clients receiving the gifts. She didn't send any email, and now she wants to take several boxes? Of course I can't give them to her. Tyler was furious, his eyes bulging like light bulbs. Are you trying to teach me how to do my job? Don't you know your place? You're just a clerk. Who isn't a worker here? Do you think I don't know? Mia is just your kept mistress. All right, now tell me who the clients are. What clients do you even have? The colleagues around, though silent, had expressions that spoke volumes. The atmosphere was charged with the excitement of watching the drama unfold. Tyler's face froze, and Mia, hiding behind him, kept avoiding eye contact. I couldn't help but feel satisfied. Ha! Now these new people can handle the important task of taming love-struck fools. Tyler, furious and flustered, shouted, Do you believe I'll fire you right now? The HR assistant wasn't intimidated and fired back. Do you believe I'll take this to arbitration? She wasn't done yet. Everyone in the company knows about this mess. It's obvious you're just using her as your mistress. Honestly, if it weren't for the money, who would bother with you? You really think too highly of yourself. Tyler was so shocked he was trembling, his finger pointing at her, but he couldn't squeeze out a word. In the end, he couldn't do anything to the HR assistant, and became the joke of the company. As the general manager, he had no authority, and everyone couldn't stand him. He quickly became the subject of office gossip. Behind his back, people were saying he was out of his mind, messing up everything for a green TB*TC, while his own mother couldn't even stand him anymore. They started treating him like a joke. And yet, the damn love-struck fool still felt good about himself. Over the next few days, he kept causing a fuss about an upcoming business dinner. To his surprise, the dinner turned out to be his ultimate slap in the face. Every year, our industry holds a big dinner. It's supposedly for bonding, but really, it's just a grand display of showing off. Tyler should have brought his wife, but, of course, his love-struck mind couldn't function normally. He insisted on bringing Mia. Before the dinner, he even tried to explain to me, saying Mia was a rising star in the business world, and bringing her along would make him look good. I almost couldn't hold in my anger. Rising star? More like a socialite. I didn't bother to engage and decided to let it go. At the dinner, the table was filled with extravagant dishes, but everyone was so busy showing off they had no time for Mia. This kind of dinner is all about who can show off the best, and no one was really focused on eating except for me. Mia, on the other hand, was practically on steroids trying to steal the spotlight. I had a decent reputation in this circle, and I just wanted to eat peacefully, but no one let me. People kept coming over to toast, one after another. Just then, a client came over to toast, and the person he brought along was Tyler's ex-girlfriend. As soon as Mia saw her, she couldn't hold herself back, and with a sarcastic tone she said, "Oh Nora, long time no see. You don't look so great." I frowned. Mia was out of line. Nora hadn't said anything, but Mia was picking a fight. Nora, however, wasn't one to be messed with. She looked Mia up and down, and then sneered. Mia glared at her. "What are you laughing at?" A person of your boss's caliber is bringing you out, and you're embarrassing him?" Nora said dismissively. Mia's eyes widened, her face twisting in anger. "You're just upset because he dumped you, right?" Tyler, noticing Mia wasn't happy, immediately put down his drink, his face darkening. Nora smirked. "Those bags and necklaces and earrings you're wearing? Aren't they all knock-offs? You think I didn't notice?" Mia froze, a flicker of panic in her eyes. Before she could respond, Tyler slammed his hand on the table, shouting, "Don't slander her. Everything Mia's wearing was bought by me. There's no way they're fakes." Nora crossed her arms, her smile widening. "I've seen enough luxury goods to know. There's no way I'm wrong." At this point, the crowd had started to gather around, eager to watch the spectacle. Nora, seeing the crowd, raised her voice. "Come take a look, everyone. Are these jewels and bags fake or not?" Those who could attend such a dinner were seasoned people, and several well-known socialites immediately joined in, scrutinizing Mia's outfit. "Yeah, this bag stitching isn't quite right. It looks similar, but you can still tell it's fake." "Right. And this necklace too, it's fake. And this bracelet? The color is all wrong." One by one, they kept pointing out her fake accessories, each remark making Mia shrink further and further into herself. She was speechless, her face pale as she wished for the ground to swallow her up. The worst part was Tyler. Not only was he embarrassed, but he was also now the target of ridicule from everyone. Everyone knew how I felt about Tyler, and no one cared about him. Nora, having started this chain of events, sarcastically remarked, "Oh, so your boss is trying to fool people with fakes? On top of that, you bring her here to such an important event, not even thinking about the embarrassment." Other colleagues, cautious but knowing my attitude, took the opportunity to speak up. "Normally he fools some young girls, but to bring her here. How embarrassing. This kind of man is so stingy. A bag isn't that expensive, but he won't even buy the real thing." Tyler's face turned beet red with shame, his eyes narrowing as he stared at Mia, practically glaring at her. When the dinner was over, I was still enjoying the show, so I hopped into the same car as them. As soon as the door closed, Tyler couldn't hold back anymore and slapped Mia hard. "Damn it. Everything I bought you is fake?" Mia covered her face, tears streaming down as she gasped for air. "I ran out of money, so I sold the stuff you gave me online. As secondhand." The more Tyler heard, the angrier he got. Pointing at her, his voice trembling, he asked, "Which month did I not give you money? Where did it all go?" Mia stayed silent, and Tyler's anger grew. He swore all the way, but there was nothing he could do. I watched coolly, knowing their relationship was all based on money. Now that I had cut off the supply, their relationship was doomed to collapse sooner or later. Before getting out of the car, Tyler pointed at Mia. "Do you have anything else to say?" Mia sobbed, and Tyler, his heart softening, sighed. "If you have something to say, just say it, don't drag it out." Mia, in a soft voice, said, "Can you give me some more money? I need to pay next month's rent." I thought this time Tyler would finally see her for what she really was. But just a few days later, they were back together again. These two were always scheming together, whispering to each other, but soon enough, I figured out their plan. I had just arrived at the company when Tyler, holding a cup of milk tea, rushed over. I immediately became alert and asked, "What's going on?" "Mom, there's a project I'd like to discuss with you," he said. I was stunned. How could he have a project? There was no way. I had given him so many projects before and he had ruined them all. Tyler, with a serious face, cleared his throat. "Mom, Mia introduced me to a project. It's definitely going to make money." He went on for a while, but when I listened carefully, I realized it was nothing but a scam. With a smug grin, he raised his eyebrows. "Mom, what do you think?" "What do I think? I think it's nonsense. This is clearly a scam, and he actually believes it?" Tyler, seeing that I didn't believe him, patiently tried to convince me. "Mom, don't worry. I invested over $2,000, and I'm about to make $5,000. I was silent. Tyler became more excited, his eyes gleaming with fervor. "Mom, trust me. This time, we're definitely going to make money." I took a deep breath, thinking to myself that this son of mine really didn't get it. He couldn't even keep up with my thinking. "I've already said no." "That means no," I replied coldly. Tyler was stunned, staring at me in disbelief. "Mom, what's wrong? The opportunity to make money is right in front of us, and you're turning it down?" I sneered a few times. "If you're going to do this, don't even consider me your mother anymore." Tyler, looking mechanical, nodded. He was so dazzled by Mia that he lost all rationality, determined that the project would make money, and plunged headfirst into it. This time he fully revealed his true nature. He was willing to sever ties with me, his mother, just to jump into this pit of fire. Sigh, Tyler really is beyond saving. I had no choice but to cut ties with him to avoid being dragged down. I quickly had my lawyer draft a statement to formally sever our mother-son relationship. Since he refused to listen to my advice, the best thing was to stay as far away from him as possible to avoid being implicated when his retribution came. Tyler still worked at the company, spending his days calling around to borrow money from all his acquaintances. But everyone knew the truth about his relationship with me, and no one was willing to lend him a dime. Not only did he fail to borrow any money, but he also became the laughingstock of the rich second-generation circle. Everyone mocked him, saying he had lost his mind. Before, they hung out with him because of my support, but now that I had disowned him, who would want to associate with a broke rich kid? Tyler slowly started to lose it. One day, as I passed by the tea room, I overheard him and Mia whispering, "Have you made up your mind? The investment deadline is coming soon." I was taken aback and immediately perked up my ears to hear what this pair of fools was discussing. After a moment of silence, Tyler hesitated, and Mia, seeing him not speak, fanned the flames. "You really need to think this through. I have insider info. This opportunity is too good to pass up. If you miss it, it's gone." Tyler hesitated and said, "But borrowing from online lenders, taking out so much. I'm worried that if I lose, I won't be able to recover." Mia patiently worked on him. "How could you lose? Didn't you make money before from small investments? The platform's benefits are good now. The more you invest, the more you get back. If you miss this, it'll be gone. You don't want your mom and your friends looking down on you, do you? By now, you must have felt the coldness of people, right? Besides me, who else is supporting you?" Tyler was a sucker for this kind of persuasion. He slammed the table in frustration and finally made up his mind. "Fine, let's do it." Behind my back, Tyler borrowed $500,000 in high-interest loans. He thought I didn't know, but I had already found out. I was initially going to step in, but then I thought, what's the point? Some people are beyond saving. Let him be. Tyler listened to Mia, invested in the platform she recommended, and started acting like some kind of venture capitalist, his head in the clouds, like he was on a high. I watched from the sidelines, quietly laughing to myself. A venture capitalist? The only thing that's true here is the word risk. Tyler paraded around the office boasting about the money he made, and many people complained to me. To stabilize things, I took him aside during the meeting. "Tyler, I've heard that your mind isn't on the business lately. That's not good." I barely scolded him for a moment, and Tyler immediately became defiant, acting like he was above everyone else. "Mom, this project is at a critical stage. I need to focus on it." I lost my temper and slammed the table. "This is working hours." Tyler rolled his eyes, unconcerned. "Then I'll quit." To be honest, I think working here is just getting in the way of making money outside. I gritted my teeth and tossed a resignation form at him. Fine. If you don't want to work, then sign it. Without even flinching, Tyler grabbed the pen and quickly signed his name. Once the resignation form was signed, Tyler began packing up his things in front of everyone. At that moment, he still didn't realize how foolish he looked, even calling the driver to help him with his boxes. But the driver ignored him. Tyler quit, and Mia, realizing she couldn't stay either, followed suit. She thought everything would be fine as long as she stuck to Tyler, but things didn't go as she imagined. As they were about to leave, a few uniformed officers quickly entered the office. "Who's Tyler?" Tyler froze. "I am. What's going on?" The officers looked him up and down, pulled out their phones, and showed him the screen. "Did you invest in this platform?" Tyler leaned in and mechanically nodded. "Yeah, so what? This investment is a scam. We've received multiple reports. We found your name in their database, so we're here to contact you." Tyler stood there, dumbfounded, shaking his head. "No way! That's impossible. I saw the profits rise this morning." Not believing it. "Look for yourself." Tyler nervously took out his phone, opened the app, and said, "See." "Wait, why's the system crashed?" He kept trying to open the app, but it wouldn't load. His face drained of color and he nearly collapsed. "Mia, what's going on?" Tyler glared at her, fire in his eyes. Mia flinched. "Don't panic, I'll call my cousin. I'll find out what's going on." She pulled out her phone and dialed, but after a moment her face turned pale as she stared at Tyler in disbelief. He? Tyler panicked. "What? What's going on? Tell me." Mia was on the verge of tears. "He blocked me." Tyler's eyes rolled back in his head, and he passed out. When Tyler woke up, the first thing he did was look for Mia. Mia cautiously approached him, her eyes full of tears. "Tyler, let me explain." Tyler's eyes widened and he slapped her across the face. "You be asterisk, Cheech. Give me my money back." Mia's head jerked to the side, her face immediately swelling. She weakly covered her face, but before she could speak, Tyler grabbed her by the collar. He yanked her hair, tearing at it desperately, not letting go no matter how much Mia struggled. Mia's delicate face was torn, and she screamed for help, but everyone just watched coldly, unwilling to intervene. As he hit her, Tyler yelled, "Give me back my money! And all the things I gave you." Mia gasped for breath. "The things you gave me, I sold them long ago. You can beat me to death, but it won't change anything. With all your energy, you should think about how to pay back the high-interest loan instead." Mia's words pushed Tyler over the edge. He collapsed again. Tyler was hospitalized in the same room I used to stay in. In a fit of rage, he suffered a cerebral hemorrhage and became partially paralyzed. His future was likely to be spent in a hospital bed. Tyler was like one of those ancient fools, mesmerized by a seductive woman, ignoring his family's objections, diving into a speculative business, and ultimately ruining himself. The one thing he did right was use both his and Mia's names when taking the loan. Now they were both in this together. Mia, desperate to repay the loan, borrowed from everyone at the company but was met with rejection. Eventually, to escape the debt collectors, she disappeared without a trace. No one knew where she went. As for Tyler, he wasn't any better off. Lying in his hospital bed, unable to escape, debt collectors came to harass him every few days. He sent a message through an intermediary saying he wanted to see me. I thought about it for a while and decided to go. After all, we were still mother and son, and I wanted him to see just how well I was doing now. When I walked in, the moment he saw me, tears filled his eyes. With his one functioning hand, he trembled and grabbed onto my sleeve. "Mom, I know I was wrong. Please forgive me. This time, I really know I was wrong. Please don't abandon me. The loan sharks are coming after me because they can't find Mia. It's that the cheese fault that I ended up like this. Please forgive me." Looking at his tear-streaked face, I sighed and gently pulled his hand away. He still hadn't realized how wrong he was. Mia made mistakes, but didn't he? He pampered his mistress, abandoned his own mother, and now he was blaming everyone else. I leaned in close to his ear and whispered softly, "Don't worry. I won't pull your oxygen tube.